districts where it would be more permitted or permissible to locate those. And as long as there was an adequate acreage for the opportunity for those enterprises to be located in the city in the appropriate zone, it was okay. Whereas if you allocated a certain zoning district for them, but there wasn't enough space available, then it wouldn't be okay. And again, it may be that those cases were based on the arguments that adult entertainment is protected in some fashion by First Amendment. Mm-hmm. I actually have a conference coming up the second week in July, and if I'm not mistaken, I think a discussion about this item may be on that agenda, so I may be better versed to respond to the questions when I get back from my conference.
I was just looking at the Naples ordinance, and I thought that they have here growth, sale, or dispensation of marijuana, including medical marijuana, prohibited.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly other jurisdictions that have done things. Otherwise, all those cases I was talking about with respect to adult entertainment facilities wouldn't have been cases. Somebody obviously prohibited them, and the courts ultimately determined you couldn't. Mm-hmm. And so I have no problem with Naples being at the point of the spear on that, and if there's a lawsuit, we'd learn from it. But I'd prefer to really see what the latest thought is on the legalities of it.
Nancy?
Yeah, I would agree with you. My first preference when I read this was no, not at all. And yet, when I look at the shape of our city, we have so many county areas that are really within our city that if the county doesn't have an ordinance, then one could pop up somewhere that really is physically really within our city, just not within the city limits, but
But not a neighborhood.
Well, you never know. I mean, if it could pop up along 41 down by
Cooper Street, right, the one side of Cooper
it could
is
pop
county
up
and one
on
side is
41 down by Burnt Store, or, because some of those areas are in the county and not the city. Mm-hmm. And we don't have any control over that.
Well, if it's medical marijuana, why don't the pharmacies just dispense it?
It's a state legislation the way it's written.
I know. I'm just asking a rhetorical question.
I'd like a little more information so that we can, would say then putting strict control on it would be my second preference.
Are we okay with that, Tom?
I would like to wait until we hear back from.
I agree.
If you don't mind.
No, certainly not.
Because you said you were going to a conference, is that correct?
Yes.
That'd be great.
That will give you more data.
It will indeed.
Okay.
Off the clock. So, I mean, what is the second city council meeting in July?
8.
July 8th. How about August or September, when they come back?
That would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. Perhaps
No
September.
I think July 8th, I think I'm leaving from the city council meeting to my conference on July 8th, so.
Okay.
That sounds fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll hold that in abeyance. Discussion regarding land donation for the proposed South County Community Library and Archive.
Thank you very much, David Hilson, Urban Design Manager. We have included in your package a up-close shot of the parcel. Yeah. The parcel is generally bounded by Shreve Street, the former railroad right-of-way, heading then degrees directly south to the dog park, around the dog park, to the history park property line back to Shreve. It's approximately 6.3 acres. As you know, the county commission is going to be issuing their grant award on the 23rd, and we would like to hear from you. Is this the land that you would like to see the library on?
I think, go ahead, Rachel.
Is that the amount of space they feel that they need, 6 acres? Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
Nancy?
I'm okay. I mentioned to Howard that I was at the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue on Saturday at the History Park, which was a fabulous event, and it really showcased that park beautifully. Kudos to the Punta Gorda Historical Society for what they've been doing. There is a hedge line along there that it's not clear on this this photograph,
Correct.
but on what is in the agenda package. That hedge line that's in the park really is on the property that we're talking about, and so it's like that hedge line could go away, and that's part of the ambiance of the park. So I would ask the county to, in the development of the History Center, or the library, to look at how it can, the synergy between that and the park, and create a way to have some ambiance that's really feeds to that historical nature and that feeling of the canopy of the trees and the shrubs. And
Is this the entire property then
Yes, on the Elmo,
that we own
yes.
No.
in that area?
No.
Do we have a map of that?
Yeah, this is it.
Yes.
This is the entire property.
This is the entire property, so
You're talking about the line, I thought.
No, the whole thing.
Okay.
this is the whole thing here, so we're looking at West Henry over to West Olympia?
Yep,
Okay, so the property on the other side, those are homes?
yes.
All right, I'm just trying to get a sense of the amount of property then that we would have available for sale to someone else.
Anywhere from 10 to, about 10
10 to
acres.
12.
10 to 12 acres.
Okay,
See, the architect that the county hires wants an envelope on where to design. The county will eventually, based on that design, come back with a legal description, and we can put together a deed with the typical reverter clause. But they want to have something to work with, and the 6+ acres, 6+ or minus acres, is that envelope that they feel they need to get the process started.
yes, Tom?
Will a traffic study be included with this study?
With their architect,
Yeah,
I don't believe it'll meet our threshold within the LDRs, but we'll double check.
okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I like
Move
it there.
forward.
Move forward.
Do we need a motion
Make a motion to move forward.
with this particular
yeah,
approximate 6.5 acres, you said 6.2?
6.3.
2.5.
2.5, okay.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus,
Plus or minus.
preferably minus. Use the land that you need. That would be fine, thank you,
Terrific. Thank you.
moving forward.
Yep.
Was there a motion, second,
wa-
and a vote?
No, there wasn't a motion, did
Do
we
you need a motion?
Let's have a motion for the
Kim
record.
made a, didn't you
I made a
make
motion.
Oh, I'm
Second.
sorry.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the selected area for the new South Charlotte County Library. All in
Punta
favor?
Gorda Library.
Aye.
Punta Gorda Library.
Aye.
We just, since we have so many high officials of the county here, I'm wondering if there's anything they'd like to contribute towards the comments on the library from,
Oh, I thought you were going to ask them if they want to contribute funds toward it. Thank you for being here. All right, moving on then. We did have a motion and it's been passed, so we can now move on to the next item, and that comes to recommendations from city officials.
No, the Florida League of Cities delegate.
No, that's.
No?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see. Sorry.
That's okay. City manager,
I've got it
anything?
highlighted.
July 1st, we will bring you the general fund status report. I know that there will be only 4 of you here, and then after 11:15 or 11:30, 3 of you. So nobody can be sick.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Oh, who's not here on the first?
And who's not here on the next one?
No.
No, I have to leave at 11:20 to pick
Oh,
up my grandson.
that have to leave, yes, thank you, thank you.
My precious cargo is coming in.
So we have the general fund status report. That is just to get us prepared for July 8th, because then we meet the next week and we'll pass the tentative millage for the budget, the tentative assessments for the PGI and BSI canal maintenance funds, and the tentative assessment for the lot mowing on July 8th.
Okay,
All right, so we're on track.
all right,
Okay.
city attorney.
Yes, just to bring you up to date with where we are in our challenge of the Charlotte County Comprehensive Plan amendments relating to Shell Creek. As you may all know, the Charlotte County asked for an expedited hearing in that case, and the judge has set it for a trial-type hearing for Thursday, July 2nd, a mere 2 weeks from tomorrow. And along with that, there's an expedited discovery schedule, which substantially hampers our ability to carry our burden. And in this case, it's we have to demonstrate that the proposed changes are not even fairly debatable. And that's probably one of the highest, most deferential standards for the county. So we've got to do our homework. And essentially, our allegations are that the proposed changes do not take into consideration the potential impact to the quality and quantity of the waters in Shell Creek. That the proposed change is inconsistent with other provisions in the comprehensive plan that are intended to protect Shell Creek. And so, as part of that burden, I have asked for your authority to retain the services of Dr. Todd Kincaid of GeoHydros LLC. Fortunately for us, Dr. Kincaid was involved in preparing a report assessing a proposed mine in 2009, actually retained by Charlotte County to review the application that was submitted at that time. And a lot of the information that he presented in his report was information that I used to understand the impacts of these mines towards the potential impacts towards Shell Creek, and was the basis of our challenge. And he is available to provide testimony based on his knowledge of the superficial aquifer, the impacts to the superficial aquifer, and ultimately the potential impacts to Shell Creek. So he's given me a proposal. Again, this is an estimate. It could be slightly higher, could be slightly less, some of which depending upon what Charlotte County's attorneys do in the next couple of weeks. And I would ask for your approval to retain his services for that hearing.
Move approval.
Second.
Or
Been
discussion,
moved.
I'm sorry.
Well, moved and seconded to approve, and we can have discussion. I just think it is unfortunate that we have to move in this direction with our county commissioners, and that we could not have further discussion to resolve the concerns that we have with regards to the quantity and quality of water that's coming out of Shell Creek. They should be just as concerned and just as aware that it's not just Punta Gorda, but it's all of unincorporated Charlotte County and other parts of Charlotte County that would be impacted if there was something going on or something wrong with the water coming out of those mines. So I'm just sorry that we could not come to some amenable conclusion and language that would, again, be a win-win for both the county and the city. So it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
I'd just like to point out that I have attempted to have further discussion with the commissioners, and it hasn't gone anywhere.
Been moved and seconded to approve Todd Kincaid, PhD, as the special witness, expert witness. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, David, and thank you for your efforts on this, too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do between now and the second, but we're up to it.
Okay. Now, of course we are.
Thank you.
It's just unfortunate that we have to spend the resources of the city but it's important that we do that. It's important that we ensure the quality of our water. Our city clerk.
Yes, as we do each year, in conjunction with the Florida League of Cities Annual Conference, we designate one council member to be the voting delegate at the business meeting, and we've also selected an alternate. So you want to decide who, so far it's Mayor Freeland, Councilmember Prafke, Councilmember Kavanaugh, and Councilmember Kiesling are attending. Councilmember Devine is not attending the conference, so it would be one of those four who are attending.
Since, Rachel, since you've done it in the past, would you mind being our voting delegate?
I'm happy to do it.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
So who wants
Would
to
you
be
like
my
to designate
alternate?
an alternate in case?
Tom?
Well, the mayor shouldn't,
Well, it depends.
I don't, if you want to do it. If you don't, I mean, I'm happy to.
you know, you're sitting through additional meetings, and if, I think since I am not going to be here next year, perhaps someone else should take it on.
I'll be happy to do it.
More than
I'll be your
likely,
I'll be
in-
your
yeah,
alternate.
I'll be there anyway, but
Okay.
Nancy
Okay,
will
so
be-
we'll have
Yeah.
Nancy as the alternate. Thank
Very
you.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then under boards and committees, we have 2 terms as alternates and 1 unexpired term for a regular seat on the Historic Preservation Advisory Board. We have 2 regular member terms on the Building Board, 2 regular terms on the Code Enforcement Board, and 1 vacancy for a regular seat on the Planning Commission. Under nominations, we have an unexpired term as a regular member on the Building Board, and we have 3 eligible applicants for a nomination.
Nominate all.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think we need that, okay.
And then finally, under appointments, we have 1 term on the Burnt Store Isles Canal Advisory Committee. Voting forms are being distributed. You're just voting for 1, please.
Would you please help me with the pronunciation of the names?
It's Madoop Idioja. And then we have Christopher Roerig and Jeffrey Ziemer.
Thank you. And the appointee is Christopher Roerig.
I have a question really quick.
Yes.
Karen, back to the building board, seat. Which seat is that? Is it the building industry seat or the consumer advocate seat?
That's a consumer advocate, and all 3 of those nominees are not contractors.
Okay, thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Then moving on, policy and legislation. I really don't have anything at this point in time. Council members? Yes.
Yes, I have an issue that came up, neighborhood electrical vehicles, which is basically the car that the city purchased to use to read meters. Have you all seen it? It's a little electric car.
You've never seen the yellow car that our meter readers use?
I have.
Yeah.
We have a
everybody's
picture of
seen
it
it.
somewhere in our comp plan, don't we, or in our newsletter? I gave you all the paperwork, sorry, I don't have it with me. Anyway, these are street legal neighborhood electrical vehicles, and Joan may want to get up and possibly, it's in our comp plan that we look forward for our residents to use these such vehicles. They are street legal, they're allowed by Florida statute. I sent you the link for the Florida statute. They basically fit perfectly within the city of Punta Gorda because you can drive them on roads of 35 miles per hour or less, and you are allowed to cross over highways such as US 41. So you would basically be able to traverse the city pretty much the whole way. A Kia Style might be, what is the speed limit on a
30.
Kia Style?
30.
Okay, so yeah, Kia Style is fine, and all the other neighborhood roads that are 35 or less are fine as well. They have to be a licensed driver, has to drive them. They have to be registered with a real tag. They have to be insured, and that's all spelled out in the statute. We have a resident who is hot to buy one of these cute little cars, and they just wanted to be sure that the city was fine with them being around town. Public safety is totally fine with it. It's totally allowed by Florida statute. The one clause in the statute that is the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it says that an ordinance may be enacted if we want to ban them for safety reasons. we could do that. If we found an area where we did not want them allowed, we could do that by city ordinance. So, I'm hoping we all want them around town because the city uses one to read the meters, so. Is everybody okay with
Don't have any
neighborhood
problem with
electric
that. Any way we can-
vehicles?
I'm
I
okay
think
with
it's
it, and
great.
I would love for there to be a way that those of us who live in District 5 could get out and use them, but we have to access 41, and the speed limit's too much on 41 for us.
And really, you can't use them on the pathways, so
Mm-mm.
therefore.
They're street legal, they
They
have
are
to be on the
street
street,
legal. Right,
yes.
Yeah, okay. Any problems with that?
No, I think it's
Alright.
great.
No, it's
So
great.
we're
They're
good,
super cute.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah, congratulations.
we all want to ride.
I was gonna say, I'll bring it as soon as we get it.
Sounds great,
Mhm.
sounds great.
Thank you, that was it.
Thank you, Tom.
No, thank you.
Nope,
Kim?
I'm fine.
I have one item, and it seems like this was a heavy Mert Star Isles day today, but Bill Hughes asked me to mention that the Canal Advisory Committee meetings are public meetings. And when he asked me this, it highlighted really a general issue that we have in communication. And that is that we have residents who are active in the community, who join, whether it's the Burnt Store Isles Association or PGICA or other organizations. They get the city's weekly report via one of us. They pay attention. And they check on the website, they check on the Facebook page, or whatever the social media may be. We also have other residents that don't. And so they get caught off guard because they're enjoying life in our paradise. I think it's the best way to put it. They're having a good time here. And all of a sudden something happens and they're caught off guard. And so it's just communication and keeping our public informed is a real issue, especially for those people that don't get the Sun, the newspaper, they don't have a Facebook page, they don't, and Bill wanted, just to say, yes, that is a public meeting, but beyond that, in my opinion, it's a greater issue of how do we engage our community, and I think our new website and things is gonna help us do that, but I'm not asking for any answers here today, because from my experience with Team Punta Gorda, it's been an issue for a long, long time.
Tom?
Nancy, with regard to that, and reading all of the people that had claimed that they were not informed about some of the issues that were coming up today at City Council, I spent some time going through the various websites of the different property owners associations and homeowners associations, and I really only found one initially that had prominent access to the weekly highlight report. And that happened to be Burnt Store Isles Association. It was posted on the entry page that it was available through your report or directly through to the city. On Burnt Store Meadows, they had access to it through either the mayor, I think, and you as well, but you had to really navigate to it and it wasn't really accessible. Those were the only two that I found that had the weekly highlight report in a prominent place on their websites. And I spoke to Karen and Howard about maybe contacting these various homeowners groups and civic associations and have the weekly report put in a more prominent place so more of our residents can know what's going on and not have to really search out information.
Well, I know that Seminole Lakes distributes my newsletter. As soon as I send it, it goes to every property owner in Seminole Lakes. So that does get broad distribution. I also know that someone in Emerald Lake? No,
Emerald
Emerald Lake.
Point?
No, Emerald Lake. No, is it Emerald? No, it's the manufactured home community
okay.
that's east of the shopping center where Pies and Plates was.
Emerald Lake.
Emerald Lake. That they circulate when I distribute the newsletter, they circulate it. And I know that Eagle Point does the same thing, and I think it's starting to happen in Park Hill. So there are some groups that are distributing it, even if it's not on their website.
Point is, there's room for improvement in terms of getting communication out there, better communication out
Well,
there.
but the issue, though, even in Burnt Store Isles, the fact that the association has it on their website and I distribute it, there are some residents who don't belong to either the Burnt Store Isles Association or our Burnt Store Isles Boat Club, who are on my distribution list, but there are many who aren't. And those are a lot of the people. As an example, when the Macedonia sidewalk issue popped up, 66% of the residents who got engaged were members of the association out of 56 residents. But fully a third of them didn't belong to anything, but it was through the neighbors,
Well, I think,
the word of mouth that they.
Nancy, it's also a
engaged.
two-way street. You know,
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
it
do
is.
so
Influence
much,
some voters.
but if they don't go into a website, I mean, you could have it on all the websites. The Civic Association could have it on the website, but if you don't go into the website, you still don't get it.
I hear you. I hear you.
So,
I
I
understand what
mean,
you're
you
saying.
know, I think that our residents need to take responsibility as well.
Well, I don't disagree with you there, one
So-
bit.
And the Charlotte Sun has entered the new millennium and is now on an iPad and an iPhone. They have an app now. So I don't know if it's subscription-based, because I already had an e-edition subscription, so I'm not really sure. But right now, it's not. So, you know, before, you had to go to a PC or a desktop, or you couldn't get it on the Apple devices or Android, I don't think. So now they are, with the current technology, took a while, long while. So maybe that will encourage people to read it. If they don't want it delivered at their house, they can.
I still think that people are playing, they're out there boating, they're, you know, fishing.
are.
They're
Enjoying
doing
life.
They are doing other things.
They're
and it's
enjoying our
only when
wonderful
something comes
community,
up. So
absolutely.
we'll keep trying to address their issues and have public
Right.
meetings at a time when most people are here and try to get the word out. But I don't think it has to be the onus always on us.
No, I don't disagree with you one bit. It's just, when these issues come up, though,
That's when we hear about it. Yes, Kim?
I don't know if it's possible, but I know that the utilities, a lot of people get their electric bill or their water bills and stuff by email. I mean, would it be possible just to send out that weekly highlight report to everybody?
Well, I had inquired about that, and I think the answer that I got back was 2,000, a little over 2,000 people have signed up for the email on their utility bills. And I think that's something we should probably discuss going forward with IT and see if we can incorporate that and improve it. So, yeah, I
Right.
think that's a good
And
idea.
maybe start getting people's email, just send it out to them.
Yeah, here's your weekly report, whether you want it.
Whether you want it or
It's
not,
not a big-
delete.
But only send the bill once a month.
There you go. There you go. All right, if we don't have anything else in from our council members, citizens' comments. State your name, 3 minutes,
It's been a
sir.
while, so in case you forgot, Emery Rose.
Yes, thank you.
Two quick items. One, on the recycled carts. The question was, if you have cardboard or large items, how does that get handled? During break, I talked to the people from Waste Management, and they said you can continue to put excess next to the cart, and it will be taken out, so you won't lose that capability. And we will have a link on the Punta Gorda Isles website directly. One of the things that I might suggest is I don't think the weekly report is on the front page along with Code Red and the rest, unless you know how to dig through the website. Sometimes
That's a point.
That's a good point.
it gets pretty confusing. The other thing is we have promoted in the commentator, since the commentator is like 3 or 4 weeks old by the time you get it for news, that it's really essential people do get the weekly report, and we have recommended that they go to one or more council persons and ask to be added to their list, that it's free. And it's really interesting to see the different comments from the different council members that send them out. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got them, Alexis.
Nancy?
I do have one other comment. I wanted to let you all know, to welcome a childhood friend of mine. It was, we lived across the street from each other when we were kids in Wilmington, Ohio. When I say kids, like 5 years old kind of kids. And Jim Gumley, sitting here in the front row, and he popped into town yesterday, and we gave him a tour of the community, and I said, well, we'll have a city council meeting this morning. He said, I'd love to come and watch the council meeting, and so Jim is here
Welcome,
watching
Jim.
the council meeting, and so I wanted to welcome him to our community. He's getting a taste of Punta Gorda. I think he's liking what he sees.
Please step to the podium, state your name.
Okay, as Nancy Bishop Prafke said, I'm from Wilmington, Ohio.
And your name again?
Jim Gumley. We lived across the street from each other for probably about 5 years when we were 1, 2, 3, 4 years old. When her dad, as a member of the First National Bank of Springfield, Ohio, was sent to our community to be vice president and cashier for a newly acquired bank by the Bank of Ohio holding company, the First National Bank of Wilmington. Now, I'm not going to tell you all of the story, but I'm going to say that her little kittens got me in trouble because I went to run across the street and see them, a quiet residential street, and Mother said, I'll take you over, and she never got to the point of taking me over. So I ran over and saw her little kittens. Mother found me missing. She brought me back, and let's say she gave me my first corporal punishment. I was very unhappy with that. She was getting my lunch, so we had Coke bottles on the back steps, and I proceeded to throw them down and break them on the driveway. I got more corporal punishment, but then I retaliated, and I ran in and slammed the cupboard or the pantry door shut on her on a 95-degree afternoon, and there was no inside way to open it. When my dad came home and found us, fortunately early that afternoon, she pardoned me before he gave me my real discipline. And I don't hold that against Nancy. I eventually got to see the kittens. They went back to Springfield eventually, where her dad became, at the First National Bank of Springfield, the president and CEO, highly respected in the community. When they had a retirement party for him over there a few years later, and all the organizations he raised, and literally millions of dollars for, as well as served them through the banking community, there were 550 people turned out. Navistar, the biggest employer in Springfield at that time, and I guess still today, they would have pulled out of Springfield if it hadn't been for her dad, because he put together a consortium of 8 banks to finance their staying there, and he was in every organization and very much involved in the Boy Scouts of America, recognized both in district and region at the highest levels. Now, what I end to say with all of this, her dad, who very much a political member of the Republican Party, never accepted public office, but he and her mother would be very proud of Nancy Bishop Prafke running and accepting public office today. And I say to all of you sitting here watching you today, I am very proud and pleased to see the civility and the courtesies and the efficiencies that you show here as City Council of Punta Gorda, Florida.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Unlike Ray Rose, everybody knows me, Steve Fabian. I just had a very interesting experience. I had doing some research on a project. I went into the city website and I went into the public search engine. That thing is fantastic.
It does work pretty
It
good.
really is great. I don't know how many people use it, but boy, I'll tell you, if you want some information, you can find it there.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Bill?
Good morning, Bill Hughes. I'm sorry I had to run out. I just want to come back and say, Nancy mentioned before that we have an underground wiring committee, and some people are saying it's all secret. It's not secret. If you belong to the association, it's on the association's website telling who's on the committee, contact information, and what we're trying to do. It's no secret. So if somebody comes before the council in the future, please remind them, join the association, look on the website. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bill. Anyone else? Anyone else wishing to?
Thanks. Dorothea Zisco, PGI. I just want to thank you because I really, really think that the low-speed vehicles are going to be the wave of the future. They reduce our carbon footprint. They're fun. They're just a neat little way to get around town in low-speed areas, and I'm really looking forward to it. So like I said, I'll bring one, and you can take a spin with me. But
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make comments before City Council? If not, We are adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, Joan?
On the Harbor Walk behind the